What's up, Laker fans? Welcome into the Lakers Report. I'm your host, Jimmy Crowther, breaking down the latest Lakers news and rumors. And today, we're going to recap that painful Game 3 loss. We're also going to give you a preview of Game 4. Now, if you're a loyal Lakers fan and you actually pay attention to the team, you already know we were live for Game 3, and we do it every single game here on this channel. We're going to do it up until either A, the Lakers are eliminated, or B, they win the NBA Finals. So whatever ends up happening, we're going to be live for it. And if you're actually a Lakers fan, you're going to want to make sure you subscribe and are watching along with us, because we know there's a lot of you fake bandwagon fans out there. Those aren't the kind of fans we're looking for on this channel. Only the real ones are the ones that are staying up and watching the games live with us here on YouTube and interacting in the live chat. So make sure you don't miss a thing and hit that subscribe button. Now let's talk about Game 3, which, again, we were live for. The Lakers lost 106-114. It was up, and then it was down for a long time, and then it was up for a little bit, and then it was right back down in the fourth quarter. Now, luckily, the Lakers still hold a 2-1 lead, but the Nuggets looked really impressive in that Game 3 win. They kind of held the Lakers to, only 106. That's not a lot of points for the Los Angeles Lakers. They limited the rebounding. They forced a lot of turnovers, and they were dominant, I would say, 3/4 of the game. The very first half of that first quarter, sure, the Lakers had a little bit of a run. And the end of the fourth quarter, or middle of the fourth quarter, they had a little bit of a run. But other than that, it was the Nuggets game the entire way through. Now, you look at the duo of LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and LeBron was fantastic. In fact, one of his best games of the playoffs so far. He had a 30-point triple-double, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, shot over 60% from the field. He made some tough mid-range jump shots. He didn't shoot the ball from three that well, but he did only have 6 turnovers as opposed to the 11 assists. Anthony Davis, and we'll talk more about him, but he had 27 points, and that's great. But he only had 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 52% from the field, more turnovers than assists. A bit of a disappointing night, in all honesty. Sure, 27 points is great, but when you're the second best player, or in some cases the best player on a championship team, you got to be better than that rebounding the ball. So what is your one-word reaction to that Game 3 loss? Let me know in the comment section. You guys can scroll on down and just respond. I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. Your one-word reaction to Game 3 between the Denver Nuggets and the Los Angeles Lakers. Now let's talk about the Denver Nuggets, who were really impressive, because this, I guess you can call it Big 3, basically dominated the entire game for Denver. Jamal Murray came alive mainly in the fourth quarter, but throughout the game, he was great. 28 points, 12 assists. He was making it happen for his teammates, and he also pulled down 8 rebounds. Nikola Jokic played great. The first half was a little bit more quiet in the second half, but he had 22 points, 10 rebounds, a nice double-double, and of course, getting it done as always, passing the ball with 5 assists in this game. But the man who really made the biggest difference for the Nuggets was Jerami Grant. Now, he didn't rebound the ball well or assist the ball that well like Jokic and Murray, but he had a career-high 26 points in that game, and the Lakers just had no answer for him. But the biggest problem that I had with the Lakers in Game 3 was the lack of rebounding. Anthony Davis, your all-NBA, all-star, power forward, center, whatever you want to call him, had 2 rebounds. Unacceptable. But, that's okay, because the Lakers have 2 great big men centers that have been absolutely incredible throughout the regular season. But JaVale comes in. He pulls down 1 rebound. Unacceptable. And Dwight Howard, who was incredible in Game 2, made a lot of bonehead mistakes in Game 3, had a few technical fouls. Or not a few, I guess I should say. He had 1 technical foul, but it was a stupid one, and it was a costly one at that. And he had 1 rebound. Unacceptable if you're the Los Angeles Lakers. Now, you look at the team as a whole, and you look at what the Nuggets did and what the Lakers did. Of course, we already recapped that score, 114-106. Really, it was more of a 10-point win. There was a bucket there at the very end of the game that made it an 8-point game. But the rebounding numbers, that's what happens when your best rebounder has 2 rebounds. And your second and third best rebounder have 1 rebound apiece. You get out-rebounded 44-25. The Nuggets also shot the ball more efficiently from the field, 55% as opposed to 51%. And they shot the ball better from 3, 38%. And both teams turned the ball over a little bit too much. So I'm going to ask you guys this question, because there's a lot of people that deserve a lot of blame in that Game 3 loss. But who do you blame specifically for it? Yeah, I'm going to say this. I put about 60% of this on Vogel, because in that second quarter, when the Lakers just let the Nuggets go on a run, Vogel calls 2 timeouts. He doesn't have Anthony Davis on the floor. He's just letting LeBron run out there with Markieff Morris, Caruso, Rondo. Very interesting lineup. First timeout he calls, Lakers make no change. No change in the lineup. And then the Nuggets go up by like 15. So Vogel calls another timeout. Still no change in the lineup after that second timeout. And the Lakers end up going down by as many as 20 points. So big time on Vogel, but also I'm going to blame the Lakers' big men. The big men were useless when it came to rebounding the ball in this game. But who do you blame? Maybe you got somebody else in mind. Now, either way, I still feel good about the Lakers' chances going to the finals. And if they're going to go all the way, you're going to need a jersey to rep them the entire time. So go to chatsports.com/Lakers jerseys and get your limited time shipping free for a limited time only. Whether you want LeBron, Anthony Davis, maybe you still want to rep Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Rondo. I saw Kobe Bryant jerseys on sale at that link. So when you go to chatsports.com/Lakers jerseys, you can get your jerseys shipped for free for a limited time only. Don't miss out on this awesome deal from our friends over at Fanatics. Now let's talk about Bubble Cheese, a.k.a. Dion Waiters. He was I want to say a late scratch, but also he was kind of more of a game-time decision for Game 3. He warmed up for the game, looked like he was going to play, and then never played. And he's missed the past 5 games for the Los Angeles Lakers. He's suffering from groin soreness. Now, again, he did warm up for that Game 3, but didn't end up playing. And I saw a lot of our friends that were in the live chat saying, hey, where's Dion Waiters? Why is Dion Waiters not playing? Well, he had a sore groin, and he still has been dealing with that. But here's the problem that I have. Laker fans are saying, oh, we want him back in. He's going to give us a spark off the bench. Well, is he? Because he's played in 5 games in the playoffs. And in those 5 games, he hasn't really done anything useful. 2 points per game, less than a rebound, less than 1 assist. And yeah, he's getting limited time. And maybe there's 1 or 2 games where he breaks out and has a huge game off the bench. But if you're relying on Dion Waiters to win you a basketball game in 2020, you're in a lot of trouble. So I don't really think this is a big loss, but at least something to keep an eye on for Game 4. I would expect him back, but it remains to be seen. Now let's circle back around to Anthony Davis, who, in all honesty, was dominant in Game 1. He was dominant in Game 2, hit the game-winning shot, and from there on, we were like, all right, the Nuggets have no answer for him. But then he has 27 points in Game 3, and things start to look a little bit different. And the reason Game 3 looks so different is because Mike Malone said, hey, I'm going to put a new defender on him consistently. And that defender was the gritty veteran, Paul Millsap. Paul Millsap has held Anthony Davis down better than any Nuggets defender. In fact, Mark Spears actually tweeted out this very interesting statistic after the Game 3 loss. AD is shooting 25% against Paul Millsap in the Western Conference Finals and 65% against all other defenders. That is insane. So if the Lakers can get Anthony Davis switched on to somebody else, not named Paul Millsap, whether it's Jerami Grant, whether it's Nikola Jokic, whether it's Mason Plumlee, whoever it is, it's a better matchup for him right now than Paul Millsap is. So I really got to give my applause up for the Denver Nuggets for switching Millsap onto him because it made a difference. Game 1, he had 37 points, 10 boards, 4 assists, and he hit that game winner in Game 2 when he had 31 points, 9 rebounds, 2 assists. Then Game 3 comes in, 27 points. He took 17 shots, a couple very ill-advised long mid-range shots, only 2 rebounds, and shot the ball pretty poorly up against Paul Millsap. Now for the series, he's still putting up 32 points per game, but I need to see some more rebounding toughness out of Anthony Davis. I do think he's going to come back and bounce back in a big way in Game 4. In fact, I think he'll have another 30-point game in Game 4. I think the Nuggets have kind of figured some things out, but I think Anthony Davis is good enough and smart enough to be able to get around that Paul Millsap defense and get guys like Jokic or Grant or even smaller defenders like Torrey Craig switched onto him as opposed to playing against Paul Millsap. Now, let's focus in on Game 4. I want to talk about my keys to the game. Number 1, do not settle for outside shots. It was driving me crazy, and I'm not even a self-proclaimed Lakers fan. It was driving me crazy watching this Lakers team take the shots they were taking in Game 3. Frank Vogel even talked about it, and he said, when we settle too much, we play into their hands. When we're attacking the paint, we're getting great looks every time we're touching the paint. We definitely have to be more aggressive. And when you have no answer on the interior for guys like Anthony Davis, JaVale McGee, Dwight Howard, even a bigger guy like LeBron James, yeah, you got to get to the paint every single time. That is my most important key to Game 4. Get to the paint. Don't settle for outside shots. Key number 2, You got to find a spark off the bench for the Lakers. Kuzma wasn't it. Rondo did an okay job. Markieff Morris, he ain't it. Dwight Howard wasn't it in game 3. It was not a great look for that Lakers bench. So let's show you all the stats from that game 3 from the bench. Rondo, 9 points and 8 assists. He looked really, really good. In fact, playoff Rondo came out to play. He's a big reason they came back and were even in the game. Sure, Kuzma had 11 points, but most of those points came when it didn't really matter. Alex Caruso, some of you guys are going to grill me for this. Alex Caruso looked just terrible in that game 3. I mean, he was a big reason that the Nuggets put on such a big run in the second quarter. Dwight Howard, 4 points, 1 rebound. He made some bonehead mistakes. Didn't like what I saw at him. And Markieff Morris, good Lord. Markieff Morris should have sat on the bench after the entire second quarter. He was terrible. He only played 11 minutes, but I swear he was like a minus 20 in the box score. So find a spark off the bench, whoever that may be. That's my second key to the game. Let's get into key number 3. And this one is surrounding the Nuggets more so. Get Nikola Jokic into foul trouble. And you're like, okay, Jimmy, that's really easily said, but how are you going to do it? You know how you're going to do it? See point 1. Get to the paint. If Jokic is being forced to defend you down low, all he can do is put his big, beefy arms up, I guess less beefy now, and just foul you. That's what he does. Because he's been great in this series. Game 3, sure, he didn't score the ball a ton, but he was efficient. 9 of 14 from the field, made some crazy shots, pulled down 10 rebounds, had 5 assists. I love watching Nikola Jokic play, but if he's going to grill you, you go at him hard and get him into foul trouble. And that way the Nuggets are forced to go to their bench. Now, Michael Porter Jr. looked really, really good off the bench. In game 3, he did have 9 points, 6 rebounds. Most of those came in the first half. Monty Morris was incredible, but you look at their big men off the bench, the only one that really plays meaningful minutes is Mason Plumlee. I mean, Porter Jr. is technically listed as a power forward, but if Plumlee's going to be the guy that comes in for Nikola Jokic when he's in foul trouble, by all means, attack the heck out of Nikola Jokic because he cannot move his feet well enough to get himself out of foul trouble. So let's move on to key number 4 for game 4, and that is pretty simple. Limit turnovers. There were a lot of times in the first half and in that second quarter run where the Lakers just looked stupid, and they were just throwing the ball away, and they were getting really kind of, what's the word? Just out of control, I guess is the best way to put it, in that second quarter. And it turned into a lot of turnovers for the Lakers. 11 turnovers in game 1. They won that one big. Somehow they overcame 23 turnovers in game 2. And then game 3, they had 16 turnovers. So turn over the ball a lot less. Just be smart, slow down, and get to the paint. Because when you're settling for outside shots, you're going to be swinging the ball around more. And that allows the Nuggets to play the passing lane even more as well. Let's get into my 5th and final point for game 4, and that is pretty simply run in transition. This is a Nuggets team that likes to slow the ball down and play in the half court so they can set their offense up and allow Nikola Jokic to get himself into space. So what you do is you run all over them. And the Lakers did a very good job of that when they made their fourth quarter run, but you got to do that all game long, especially in the second quarter when you have proven to be very, very slow. Continue to run the ball, continue to get out in transition, continue to make the Nuggets run and get tired. So what I want you guys to do right now is predict the score for game 4 in the comment section. You've made it all the way to the end of the video, so now you guys get to show off your basketball knowledge. My prediction, I think the Lakers are going to come out swinging. I think they figured some things out. I think they're going to win this one 123-106. I think they are going to dominate game 4, and then go on and win game 5, and it'll be a quick gentleman's sweep, a 5-game series for the Los Angeles Lakers. But make your predictions in the comment section below.